Luke, what do you think about smartphones?
Oh, I think they're great! They're very useful for doing things on the go.
So, what you're saying is that it's okay for teenagers to be so absorbed into their phones that they don't have any social life?
What? So, what did we just witness with our eye sockets? Mr. Luke, kind-hearted child, told us that he thinks smartphones are useful, and Mr. Jerkbag took those words and exaggerated the ever-loving bejesus out of them. But why would Mr. Jerkbag do this? Well, it's clear that he has an issue with smartphones as a whole, but he can't exactly refute the point that smartphones are useful because they are. Instead, he sets up a dummy punching bag with Luke's face on it, distorting his viewpoints into something that sounds far worse and is much easier to attack. This tactic is so common that we've given it a name, the Strawman Fallacy. It is one of many logical fallacies that you will see a lot in the media. After all, it's way easier to attack a distorted version of someone's argument than to come face to face with the argument itself. If you read about anything, political, philosophical, or scientific, you have to be cautious of this.
But Mr. Ducap, how can you identify the Strawman Fallacy? How can you know whether someone is reporting another's argument accurately?
Well, Mr. Jiminy, the answer to those questions can be tied to one central theme: research. Simply put, whenever you hear person B talk about person A's argument, you always want to research person A's argument alone with all the context that comes with it. This is especially true if person B disagrees with person A. Person B has every reason to distort the other's argument in his favor. You don't want to get an explanation of someone's argument from someone who disagrees with it. Listen to the source itself. As an example, let's take a look at one remark Donald Trump made in the third government debate. In this debate, Trump said this:
Very unfair that somebody runs across the border, becomes a citizen. Under her plan, you have open borders. You would have a disaster on trade, and you will have a disaster with your open borders.
Now, you could take Trump at his word and believe that Hillary wants open borders. But this is coming from Trump's mouth, not Hillary's. How can you be sure that Trump isn't exaggerating what Hillary truly wants to do? In this case, Hillary makes her position quite clear.
We will not have open borders.
Well,
that is a rank mischaracterization. We will have secure borders, but we will also have reform.
But let's say for the sake of demonstration that Hillary hadn't said this, or Trump said this when Hillary wasn't around. In this case, you can see if Trump is exaggerating or not by researching Hillary's border policy. Her website is a great place to do this. Generally, politicians will have websites to explain their positions on important issues. Through this, you'll find that Hillary doesn't even mention open borders. Hillary even said on multiple occasions that she supports secure borders, she just thinks Trump is taking it too far. This research is enough to conclude that Trump had exaggerated Hillary's arguments, making them easier to debunk. I could go into many more examples, including examples of Democrats using this tactic because they do use it. But unfortunately I'm out of time. So I'll leave off with this. I've talked about the Strawman Fallacy here, but there are so many more fallacies out there that are used all the time. Researching these fallacies, memorizing them, and identifying them is vital to learning about what's true and what isn't. They will help shed light on many of the tactics that people use to feign knowledge. Learn about these fallacies. Use your critical eye whenever you read about something. Because, if we're gonna be honest, these fallacies are way too effective.